Thanks for taking the time here. I'm James Diltz from Substream magazine, and I'm located in the Columbus, Ohio area.
So what's going on?
What I wanted to do was certainly spend some time talking about, what you and Everclear are up to, and kind of my entry into this conversation really is they're making a documentary about the band Failure, and there's a few minutes of it floating around online, and someone was talking about the band, and they said, you know, Failure's a band you find, and those are the bands you tend to love the most. And as soon as I heard somebody like articulate that, it's like that's how I've always been as a music fan, and could never really, put it into those words. But Everclear is one of those bands for me. You know, a friend of mine when I was at Ohio State was doing an internship with Capitol Records and gave me a promo VHS tape with a bunch of music videos from the bands at the time. And the Santa Monica video was on that. And I've been a fan ever since.
Oh wow.
And so I think what I found early on in listening to the music was just the genuine emotion in your singing and in the relatability of the stories, and I think that really comes through. And as you approach songwriting, where does that come from for you?
Thanks for saying those things. I really appreciate it, and I think that's a good question. I think what it comes down to, James, is that one of the things I liked about punk rock and the things I liked about even Jane's Addiction and bands like the Pixies and even the hip hop was that you didn't have a bunch of guys wearing makeup and costumes and stuff. You had people being genuine and real, and the music was genuine and real. And that was one thing that really attracted me to, already I was moving in that direction. But when I, started seeing what Seattle bands were doing and I moved to Portland, I wanted to find something that was my own thing. I wasn't into the long hair and the sounding like the Stooges as much, even though I love the Stooges. I wanted to mix that with more of a singer-songwriter and a punk rock kind of feel to it, with that kind of swagger as well. To kind of find my own thing. And it was just what you got was just real. And the anger, from the early album, when you listen to this album, World of Noise, the 30th anniversary, you can hear the real anger and frustration of me being a dad and not having money and not knowing what the hell I'm doing and being out of my depth and writing songs and developing characters. It's not autobiographical, but the story's all there. There's songs that didn't show up on that. There's a song that didn't show up on that record that's in the bonus tracks for people to hear for the first time, called Drunk Again. If you listen to the lyrics, it's a guy telling his girlfriend not to come home until their baby goes to bed because he doesn't want her daughter to see her mom drunk. His daughter to see her mom drunk and sloppy and high on drugs. And he'd been sober 30 days. And I was at that point, I was sober about a year and going to meetings and just meeting people who were just raw. And it was just like, that wasn't my life, but it could have been. It could have been. I could have been her, and being able to confront those fears of being that thing I didn't want to be. Writing about it was a catharsis for me, and I think very helpful for me to keep my sobriety and keep my program.
So as you look across your career, what song do you think you're most proud of that you've written?
There's a lot of them. It's kind of telling your kid which one is your favorite, right?
Yeah.
But I think, two songs come to mind. As far as rock songs go, a song of Sparkle and Fade called Summerland. I love that song. I love just the breadth of it, how it moves around and how it tells a story of heaven and hell, and just damage in the ruins, just, or finding love in the ruins, among the ruins. It's that kind of road story. And later on Songs from American Movie Volume 1, our fourth record, a song called Learning How to Smile.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my best song I've ever written.
Yeah, that's easily top 5 for me, and might even be one of my absolute favorite as well. Those songs, and as we kind of talk through here, we'll get into that a little bit more. But it just really seemed like there were so many different things going on in those albums, but I felt like they were all moving the band forward and moving the music forward.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to do. I just never wanted to make the same record twice. I like bands that do that, but that's not what I wanted to do. Like the Ramones, I mean, there's subtleties. It's the Ramones, man,
Yeah.
If it can still sound like Everclear, but not sound like the last song that you just heard or the last album you had, then I've done my job.
Well, and I think it just shows the range of musicianship when you've got someone who really can, do everything. And, to me, those are the best bands. And certainly that's something that, I've always loved about your music is, you've got the lighter, probably more sensitive songs, but you guys can kick ass with anybody. So that's always been a favorite for me.
Thanks. Yeah, well, that's a dichotomy that, growing up, bands that were, it's always been a thing to me that just because albums sound a certain way, and you can make an album more produced to have more layers because you're going to hear it over and over and over again, right? So you want to be able to get something just about every time you hear it. But live is just immediate. It's in your face. And our live shows have always been closer to the feel of World of Noise, whereas that record is visceral and just immediate, present, just right there. I think Sparkle and Fade too, to a large extent. I don't think we got really into into producing things more until so much for the Afterglow, which I still think is a rock record. But yeah. Songs from American Movie was where I tried to be, Brian Wilson.
Yeah, no, I think you pulled it off. Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
So, I got to watch the 30-year retrospective video, and that was phenomenal. Super well done. And I thought really, did a great job of telling the story of the band. So as you look back, over your career so far, what part do you look at that is just, the hardest part to believe, as far as from where you guys started to everything you've accomplished?
The one thing that still comes back to me is playing Woodstock 99. And I know that it was a shit show for a lot of people. It was, man. They were selling $8 bottle of water. It was on a tarmac of an Air Force base. It was just, everything was going to go wrong, But being up there playing in front of about 300,000 people, and hearing those 300,000 people sing my song, the words to my songs, especially Santa Monica. I never felt like anything like that before. It really, if you look at me, and Craig as well. I mean, we both wanted to cry. It was powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah,
that's like a city. That's a city. Six lyrics.
Right.
That's a pretty good size. 250,000 people or more. That's a pretty good sized city. Yeah. And it was, man, yeah, it was powerful. And not just that, not just the experience of it, but the fact that of everything that fell in place that we did, that we failed, that we succeeded at to get to that place was really important. And I know there's bands that have had a lot more success than us. God bless. I'm just grateful for what's happened to us.
Yeah. Well, I was at Woodstock 99. And, what I'll say is, and I don't know if you saw the HBO documentary or not.
I did. I know. I knew that stuff was going on. I was hearing stuff like that. When we were done, they were trying to get us to stay for Sunday. I think MTV or VH1 wanted us to hang out and talk on. I'm like, nope, we're fucking out of here, dude. No way. And I heard that the Chili Peppers were going to pass out candles. You mean I'm like, electric candles? No, like real candles, like flame.
Yeah.
To those people.
Yeah.
No, that's a horrible.
Yeah, not a great judgment call on that one. But I went with 5 of my buddies. We rented an RV, packed all of the storage bins full of water. We took money, and we had a totally different experience. And how some of that might have been us just being in our own world, but it's like we were reasonably clean. Yeah, it was hot as hell during the day, and you did have to break down and buy water. But we'd go back at night, fire up the engine, cool the RV down, and get back at it the next day. And so
Were you in the camp? Were you in the campground?
We were in like where the RV parking was, so it was a different dynamic than the campground for sure.
Did you have a shower in the RV?
Well, we did, but somebody boosted our water like the first day because there's an outside control for that. So somebody took it, but we had, gallons and gallons and gallons stashed underneath it, locked in the storage bins underneath. So basically you would put a little bit of water on your head, soap off, and then rinse. About a gallon of water would get you what we called Woodstock showers. You could brush your teeth and, at least not be sticky when you started out every day.
No, that's awesome, dude. You were 1,000 miles ahead of the average bear for sure.
And I think our experience was too, because we had a guys trip last summer, probably a couple weeks after that documentary aired, and it was like, and we all had seen it by then, so we were able to compare notes. And it's like, that we saw people tearing some stuff down, and obviously when everybody started to catch stuff on fire, we were like, nothing good's going to come from us staying here. So we moved on. But otherwise, it's like, as we talk about musical experiences, it's, just like you put it up there as a fan, we did too.
Yeah, it was. Did you guys see us play? Did you see us play?
Yeah, it was absolutely phenomenal. Like
what I'm talking about? The crowd just jumping up and down as far as you could see. I know we had about half of what the other band had, but that was a lot of people, man. And it was very powerful. And we were dressed so stupid, but I felt like we put on a great show, and we brought people on stage. They let us bring people up on stage, and it was wonderful. And that night I got to meet at the hotel. I got to meet Ice Cube and the guys from. It was the first time I met the guys from Rage Against the Machine and other bands that were there. It was really cool. It was just a really special time to be like accepted and included with these people that I really respected,
So, you're reissuing World of Noise, which, I think the timing of that is fantastic. And, as I listen to those songs, it's like they've never sounded better. And, the bonus tracks, a lot of those were new to me. 1975, by the way, absolutely love that one.
Thanks. Everyone I talk to, James, likes a different song.
Is that right?
It's funny. Yeah, the first guy's like, man, Detroit, that song was so great. And then this other guy's, Bonds. Oh, yeah, Bonds. And yesterday, last week, someone was like, yeah, Drunk Again, man, that song, so powerful. And I'm like, I guess I picked, and the guy I just talked to really liked Pacific Wonderland. So, think it's really cool. I think I picked the right songs.
Yeah.
You know?
So you've got the 30th anniversary tour coming up. What can you tell me about that?
Just, I wanted to do it with bands that we liked, and we went out last year with a Summerland, and I think it was too soon because we sold tickets, good tickets, but a lot of people didn't show up that bought tickets. Not huge amounts, but I'd say 20% a show. It's just people just like, don't feel safe. I think people feel more safe, even though the numbers are going up right now. I wish people were wearing masks more, but they're not gonna. So, I still wear them. I still wear masks whenever I go around people I don't know. And I wear masks on planes. We're gonna continue to, and I just got the booster, the second booster. But I'm excited that we're gonna go out. We're gonna play more songs off World of Noise that we played. Usually we do one, like maybe every other show, and now we're gonna do probably 2 or 3 a show, and maybe a bonus track as well.
So actually, that was probably the next question I had in mind, was kind of, what does go into building a set list for a tour like that?
Just, I know it works. I know what people want to hear. I know what we like playing, and we like playing all of our songs. It's fun. We're stripped down to a 4-piece. Davey French has been with me for 18 years.
Wow.
Since 2023. Yeah. 18 years. Wow. That's crazy. Freddie's been with me for about 13 years, and Brian's been with us for about 6. And we're just tight, man. We're really tight. No keyboards, just guitars. And it's fun. We have a lot of fun playing together. I was just going to say another thing about this tour is all 3 of the bands, we're rock and roll bands. There's no like electronic tracks, like every band, just about most bands use tracks with like either rhythm tracks or guitars or vocals, which to me is just cheating. But we don't have any of that. What you see is what you get, man.
No,
that's rock and roll.
Yeah, that's right.
That's rock and roll. So what were you going to say, James?
Well, no, I was just going to say, on World of Noise, and you touched on this already, where it's really just the roots of rock for you, and, a throwback to your punk influence and those kind of things. And you hear the foundation being built for kind of what's to come. And as you look at the stretch of albums after that, from Sparkle and Fade through songs from an American Movie Volume 2, you put together a string of albums really that is unrivaled by most bands. And
thank you for...
as you were doing that, at what point in those album cycles did you kind of realize like that you were on fire there?
I was a little bit older than a lot of my contemporaries, and I just I had a kid, and I just had this sense of urgency that I just had, when my back's against the wall, I get very creative and I get very productive. And I just felt it was going to be taken away from me if I didn't keep I knew I was in a zone, and I just kept pushing that zone and pushing it and pushing it as long as it lasts.
And that's interesting. It's like, you were hungry for a different reason. Whereas, and I think that's where like a lot of bands will have like a sophomore slump or those things, because you're scrapping it out, to get the record deal, to kind of, get the band, out there, and you find some success, and then you kind of find that complacency. And it's like in that you don't see in your music there.
Well, I'm grateful for the people that we had around us, the team we had. My A&R guy, Perry, was he stood back and let me do what I needed to do and believed in me. But when he thought something needed to happen, he'd tell me. Santa Monica, he didn't think was finished. It took about a 3-month period of getting it there. And we would get into arguments and scream at each other. And, but when it was said and done, it's a big hit song. Changed my life. It helped create a career for me. So was he right? Probably. And then with Afterglow, I thought it was finished. He told me it wasn't finished. And it kind of broke my heart a little bit. But I spent a couple of weeks licking my wounds, and I got back at it, made a bunch of notes, wrote some more songs, went in and turned it, an album that was tentatively called Pure White Evil into an album called So Much for the Afterglow. Yeah. And, but it was because of the team we built around us, not just us. I created all the music, but, I think that's what an A&R, that's what a label's supposed to do, help you market it, help you get it in front of people, help you sell it when people want to buy it, get it in front of people who want to buy it. That's back in the day with distribution, that was easier said than done. And I'm just grateful that we got to work with so many great people,
That's great. And, the end result there is my favorite album of yours. I can throw that on and listen to the whole thing any and every day of the week.
Thanks, James. Yeah, I my favorite records are between that and Volume 1. It goes between those two.
Yeah.
Afterglow, because that rocks a little harder,
So how much of Pure White Evil do we hear on Afterglow?
Oh, most of the songs were on Pure White Evil. They're just probably 3 or 4 songs didn't make the cut. It came out as B-sides later, or just got scrapped, or showed up on a later record in a different form.
Gotcha.
Like there's a song called Otis Redding that was more of a punk rock song that became, more of a production piece on Volume 1. But the production, I didn't have the intro to I'll Buy You a New Life with the bells, and we did that with the toy piano through an amp. Dun, 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 dun. Just stuff like that. I wrote when I was in that hotel in New York, just after, me and Perry had talked and we decided to scrap the record, or I needed to redo it, not scrap it. And I just went through every song and thinking, what would make this more exciting? What would make this more sound like Everclear? At the same time, take it to a new place. And I came up with all these little things and vocal things, and I rewrote lyrics and went back and hit lyrics and songs that were already there, added tracks to new stuff, took some tracks out because it was too much production, and just went into a studio and recorded. One time we went into this one studio just to rehearse, and they had a 24 track, and we just set it up, and I just burned through a couple of tapes of us jamming, and then me and my friend took it and cut it up and created a 3-minute instrumental and I called it El Distorto di Melodica, and put some loops on it. I went in and just screamed through a mic and a distortion unit, and that was it. I just had the thing of there's no rules. I'm going to put horns on the record. My label's Perry's like, you're going to put horns on the record? I go, yeah. I need horns. Yeah. Horns and orchestration and other textures,
Yeah.
Banjo, I didn't know how to play banjo, but I got a 6-string banjo that played like a guitar, and I figured it out.
Well, it's whatever serves the song. And, I think the greatest songs always have elements of that in it.
I agree. It's like the song is the God. You got to serve the song, whatever the song wants. Most songs don't want you to record a 15-minute guitar solo, but if it calls for something, And if it's your song intrinsically, I knew deep inside what it needed. Sometimes I needed to get some distance from it and some space, but I knew. And I think for the most part, me and the band made pretty good choices.
One thing I heard you say in the video was that you thought that volume 2 sounded tired to you at this point. I want to tell you I disagree with you a little bit on that one, especially the back half of that record. I felt like that was one that got stronger as it went, and overwhelming. One of my favorite songs of yours. So don't sell yourself short on that one. I felt 1 and 2 put together, really told the story to me.
Well, James, I originally wanted to do a double album.
Yeah.
Not with about 18 to 20 songs. And I think it would have cut out a lot of deadwood of both albums, and it would have been just really powerful. And yeah, I think the tired thing is more production. I think there's good songs,
yeah,
but there's a couple of songs that just don't sound finished to me. They just don't sound finished to me. And that's out of my depth. I think there's some really great ideas there.
Yeah.
It just sounds finished to me. It just doesn't resolve. Overwhelming is a great song. I'm very proud of that song. And I like that version. I like that version on volume 2 better than the original version that was on the Permanent Midnight soundtrack. But, if I had it to do all over again, I would just do, like I said, 18 to 20 songs and cut out a lot of deadwood and just redo it. But, that's what it could have, should have. But, that's me. I mean, there's people out there that are fans of mine that are trying to get me to put out demos that I, release them. And I'm like, I don't want to. They're not done, like old songs. But we can agree to.
Yeah, that's a tough one. It's like taking a canvas that you're only halfway done with and putting it out there as a final product. When you see the evolution that so many songs take, I'm not a songwriter. You are. But how many times have you had a song that was in your mind finished, and then once you start to tinker with it, turns into something totally different, but so much better than what you had started with? That's the trick with putting out, something that's, under construction.
Yeah, I understand that. That's just that doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
What appeals to me is putting out when I feel like this is the best I can make it. It's finished. Here you go. I stand by it.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the production, the mixing, the mastering, even on volume 2, it's just kind of weak. I was tired. I don't think I would have put it out if I wasn't so tired, and the label wasn't yelling for it. I just wish I hadn't bowed to pressure of management, of putting out one record, of putting out 2 records. I wish I'd put a double record and just waited till it was done. And it would have been great. I think it would have been a great record. It would have sounded better than both records that exist now. And just, took my time and mixed it with who I wanted to mix it. I wanted to mix it with Andy, who mixed our first, who mixed Afterglow, But, oh well, they came out okay.
Yeah, they came out great. My hat is off to you for them. So, for what that's worth. Between
the 2 records, Volume 1 and Volume 2, we sold 2 million records, a little over 2 million records. One was about platinum and a half, and the other was almost half. So I just think that it would have been a stronger record. But, it really doesn't matter because I don't know. I'm just grateful that I had the chance and the opportunity to make music. Here I am trying to split hairs about, the fact that I made, what did I make? 6 major label records. I mean, how many people in bands get to do that? That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, pretty amazing. That is a high class problem.
Yeah, that is definitely first world problems. And no one makes albums anymore except, superstars, really.
Well, and that's the trick with where music's going, is it's just past the point of no return on some of that, unfortunately.
It is. That's why we're going to record maybe a song or two a year. And we recorded a song called Year of the Tiger.
No, that's great. So I am also Year of the Tiger. I was born in 1974. So
every 12 years, yeah.
That's right. So that struck a chord with me because I'm anxious to hear what you've got there.
Yeah, it's Year of the Tiger now.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So I know we're way over time here, but as you look beyond the 30th anniversary tour, what do you see next for Everclear?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we're going to keep making songs. I'd like to put out this my band before. I found the original tapes for Colorfinger. I'd like to put those out. And the band before that, our demos before that, a band called Shake and Brave. I found the original tapes of those. Wow. So I'd like to put those. But for Everclear, I think we're just going to keep playing shows. I'll keep writing music and maybe doing a song or two a year, like I said. Maybe after a few years, we'll take all the songs I've done and make a record out of it. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, me personally, I'm back in school, in college, getting my psychology degree. And I got a life coaching, 3 life coaching, master life coaching certifications. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to work with creative people and people who have, like me, emotional and drug and alcohol issues. And just kind of be of service and make a living at the same time while still doing the band.
Yeah.
I'm never going to. You're going to have to pull it out of my cold, dead hand,
No,
right?
That's awesome. Well, last comment here. Black is the New Black. That's just a brilliant name and something I wish I had thought of. So I love that. But, thank you for your time, Art. I look forward to seeing you guys out on the road and wish you the very best in everything to come.
I appreciate it, James. Thank you so much. Thanks for your patience today. And I appreciate talking to you, brother. Be well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye. You too.
Bye-bye.